Sorry, I kind of skipped.
I can take it again.
Sure, go ahead.
Next one's from Miss Jennifer Law. I've had the privilege to work with 2 different teams over my 5 years at Dearborn Public Schools. I'd like to acknowledge the hard work and commitment of those who I've worked with at McDonald Elementary. The encouragement and willingness to work cooperatively increased my motivation to be the very best I could be for my students. They are and were always available to encourage, give guidance, and help out in any way they could. I have grown in confidence and professionalism because of them. I also want to thank our team at Oakman, who I'm getting to know but who have welcomed me and have such a positive school climate, which has had an impact on both students, families, and staff. Thank you. I'm not going to get this name right. Mrs. Alasri. I write this message as a concerned resident and educator. Educators are the backbone of schools. We are entering a time where the standards seem to be shifting in terms of how a quality educator is portrayed. On one hand, we have parents coming into board meetings stereotyping teachers in this pandemic in a very negative way. And on the other hand, we have a huge shortage of teachers that universities have been warning the public about for many years. Passionate, talented, and hardworking educators can be found in every corner of our district. With all these shifting standards, I write to remind everyone of this. Next is from Miss Emily Shoup. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Hague Elementary. This school year has been very challenging thus far. I'm thankful that I spent countless hours this summer finding, buying, printing, and laminating tools, activities, and centers for my upcoming class. Those hours were also spent researching the most effective means of delivering phonemic awareness and reading instruction for my upcoming class, and I knew would be behind based on what the previous year had dealt us. I wanted to be prepared for a group of kids I had never met before, even if that meant giving up part of my summer to be ready for their needs. Next is Nabila Almawari. I wonder why the assistant teachers in the GSRP in our school get paid less and work fewer hours. They also did not get the increase in salary and hours that the assistant teachers received in private and charter schools. Why was the sum of $2,000 distributed to all teachers and assistant teachers who worked during the pandemic in all school districts, as well as private and charter schools in Dearborn District, in addition to $500 for each employee who vaccinated, and we did not get any of it in Dearborn Public Schools? Why is there a huge difference paid between the parapro and the GSRP and the special education parapro? Teachers and parapros worked in schools when virus infection rates were high. They also worked hard with the students and did projects when school was virtual, and other school districts rewarded teachers and parapros and increased their salaries except Dearborn, which is causing staff to leave Dearborn for other school districts. Next is from Ms. Jessica Candalift. I would like to acknowledge my whole special ed team for rising above obstacles and finding solutions this school year. Our research teacher at our school specifically goes above and beyond daily to support various students in our school throughout the school day. Every day she comes in and assists the special ed students to get into the school from the bus and takes them to breakfast after. She covers parapro lunches for multiple parapros daily, and she also steps into sub as a classroom teacher and parapro for large portions of the week. This is due to the staff shortage. I would like to thank her sacrifice and dedication to our students. Next is from Carla Lieutenant. I'm a member of the Maples Elementary School Special Ed team. I want to give a shout out to my team. Teaching and serving our special ed students during the pandemic has been very difficult. My team came together last year and worked very closely to make learning online as well as in person a manageable and positive experience for both students and parents. This year, we continue to work together to put our students first by covering for paras that have yet to be hired due to a lack of applicants. I'm constantly impressed by the willingness of my team to go without a duty-free lunch or their daily prep time to make sure that our students are safe and are learning to the best of their ability. Next is from Veronica Bennett. Good evening. I am a speech language pathologist at Whitmore Bowles Elementary, and I would like to take this time to recognize this outstanding staff at Whitmore Bowles. For those of you who don't know, Whitmore Bowles houses many special ed centered based classrooms, including multiple autism classrooms, early childhood special education classrooms, GSRP classrooms, as well as an emotionally impaired classroom, in addition to our general education grade levels. To say that we have been feeling the results of this paraprofessional shortage at Whitmore Bowles would be an understatement. I want to take time to acknowledge the importance of paraprofessionals in our building and throughout the district, and stress how much they are needed. It is time that we as a district value these people who play such an important role in our student success, especially those who have been supporting our students for years. Our special education teachers and ancillary staff at Whitmore Bowles truly go above and beyond for our students every single day, putting in countless hours outside of the workday before and after school to plan and create individualized activities, visual supports, etc. I see firsthand the amount of time and work that our staff puts in to ensure that students come first in our building. Due to the high number of special education classrooms, our general education teachers facilitate mainstreaming in our classrooms with many of our students. Our general education teachers are some of the most patient and welcoming people I have ever known. Our staff has the ability to work anywhere in any district, but they chose to be in Dearborn. I feel it is time that we as a district value the outstanding staff that we have to ensure that they continue to choose Dearborn.
I can take it from here.
Thanks.
President Thorpe, thank you. Mrs. Tamara Davidson of Dearborn says, our school staff at Gear Park has gone above and beyond our duties since the pandemic began. There were countless hours of planning beyond what is normal for a school year, putting together materials for pickup and connecting with parents at all hours. The staff used their own cell phone to be in contact with all families. If families weren't picking up materials, they were delivered to the house. When families didn't understand how to do the assignments, we reach out to Zoom to show them with a visual. Our staff generally cares and loves their students. So let's continue supporting our teachers to put our students first by showing respect and encouragement for our teachers on the front line. Ms. Emily Wallwinkle of Detroit says, over the past year, I have seen my colleagues and myself deal with immense stress stemming from their jobs as teachers in Dearborn. We adapted lessons and learned new platforms for the good of the kids. This year, I see teachers who are taking the extra burdens of enforcing COVID restrictions, trying to provide even more than normal amount of emotional support for students who are struggling with pandemic stress, establishing patterns of behavior appropriate for school that were forgotten over the course of the last year, learning new curriculum because their grade level was switched last year and more. This is all on top of already overwhelming workload of a normal school year. I know of at least 6 teachers in my building who had to start anxiety medicine in the last year or so in order to deal with the extra work stress. Teachers are going above and beyond every day for our kids, which is amazing. However, we must find a way to prevent burnout so that these amazing teachers can stay in our district and continue their wonderful work. Mr. John Ochoa, sorry for butchering your last name. I have worked collaboratively with elementary teachers to find out how learners are doing and what they might be going through and the great work that they are doing in their classroom. So many teachers and staff have been willing to collaborate for the sake of the students. As a special ed teacher, I often do not know what the kids are going through, and without fail, the teachers and the support staff are willing to help and go above and beyond so that our students have all the supply they need. Ms. Zainab Shami of Dearborn says, I have been always proud to be a Dearborn educator. I'm a product of Dearborn Public Schools. I'm in my 11th year teaching here. In fact, I became a teacher specifically to give back to Dearborn. Over the years, and especially recently, I haven't even considered leaving Dearborn for more lucrative teaching jobs because I believe that I'll never be fulfilled working as fulfilled working anywhere else as I am with our amazing students. I just want to give kudos to my fellow DPS teachers who since March of 2020 have taken on roles we never foresaw. I know we all know this, so I won't go into detail. I will simply say this: we are still in the mindset of the pandemic, and our kids still need more than ever. We teachers know our students better than anyone in DPS, and we are adapting to their needs minute by minute every day. I'm proud of what I see from my colleagues, of the dedication, flexibility, and loving care they show our students. But don't take my word for it. I encourage everyone, including the board, to talk to students and ask them who is impacting them the most. Who will they remember a decade or two down the line? I hope that we all value teachers in ways more than just rhetorical. Many of my colleagues and I have received commendations at these very meetings, and many more deserve them. I'm hopeful that DPS will step up just like its teachers have in these trying times. I love Dearborn. I look forward to many more happy years here where my fellow teachers and I receive the respect in word and deed that we deserve. Thank you. Miss Kelly Mustin said, "Good evening. My name is Kelly Mustin, and I just began my 24th year of teaching in Dearborn schools. With nearly 24 years of experience, I feel like I've almost seen it all. Then COVID came. Teaching virtual kindergarten is no easy task. However, with the support of my amazing students and their families, as well as fellow teachers, we made it work. And my students learned and achieved, evident by data as well. I'm also proud of the work that has been accomplished by my hardworking colleagues at Lindbergh and kindergarten cohort friends across the district. We vax up and we mask up because we know what's right for our students. Way to go, teachers." Ms. Renee Reed of Brownstown Township said, "Good evening. I want to take a moment and highlight the truly amazing work our GSRP preschool staff is doing. We tend to be at our own drum, but man, oh man, is that beat smooth." GSRP staff have worked together more than ever in the last 2 years to help our children cope, adjust, adapt, overcome, and grow through the pandemic and all of the ups and downs of the virtual, hybrid, and in-person schooling. Our preschoolers have formed bonds with one another that are continuing into kindergarten. It is due to our hard work, dedication, and programming standards. And this is the class of children that have come out doing so well. We focus on relationship building, and in this time of COVID, it is clearly more important than ever. 3 cheers to our GSRP teachers, parapros, parents, students, and administrators for coming together to truly put students first. Mr. Mike Schmidt of Sterling Heights says, "I would just want to take a moment to acknowledge the amazing work that has been done by my colleagues across the district over the past 2 years. The workload and demands that have continued to pile up, yet I've witnessed so many of my peers put students first, even if it meant one had to push his or her own well-being to the side. I'd argue that this is a tremendous feat, given that the fact that there is a national teacher shortage and our district has lost a countless number of educators in the last 5 months to other districts that were willing to amend contracts and offer in terms of compensation. My hope is that the board and committee or community keeps these words in mind of the goal for the district to continue to flourish and in the future." Mr. Munir Al-Mauri of Dearborn says, "My name is Munir Al-Mauri. I'm a parent of 2 boys at Lowry School. My children had an amazing experience with their teacher, Miss P. She was very patient and generous with her time, considering that there were many unknowns. She always made it seem like nothing was any different. She came from Canton to deliver gifts, cards to her students because she knew it would make her students happy. My concern with the district, why was Ms. P put back in the classroom when COVID cases were above 12%? We all know that little masks doesn't protect us from the beast. Why was her life not valued enough to keep her home and safe? School was virtual up until March and everything was going well. But yet again, Dearborn had to disturb what what was working. As a parent, I worry that if the district doesn't care about their staff, why would they care about my kids? Ariel Haggy says, in my 5 years working in Dearborn Public Schools, this by far has been the most difficult, as there are many factors that have contributed to students experiencing difficulty transitioning back into the in-person learning. I would have not been able to persevere the beginning of this school year without the support of my special ed teams at Hague, Limburg, and Maples. All of the support staff that I work with have gone above and beyond for student success. For example, the special ed teams have made rotating schedules to support students who are without parapros. There are many more examples as how each of my team members have gone above and beyond. However, I would need a lot of time to list all of the examples. I would like to thank the board for taking the time to read this comment. Ms. Esmahan Mashrah of Dearborn said, good evening, fellow board members, superintendent, and community. I'm writing as a product of Dearborn Schools, parent of 4 children, currently in DPS, an educator of DPS, and community member. Dearborn Schools have been the top schools in our community and neighboring communities. In my family alone, we can attest to the schooling of DPS. We range from doctors, pharmacists, engineers, educators, psychologists, community leaders, social workers, and still future generations to come. Our schools have been in the top notch, and 95% of that credit goes to the amazing dedicated teachers that have had throughout the years. Unfortunately, we are seeing a mass exodus of our profession and in Dearborn Public Schools, which is incredibly disheartening. Our teachers have always gone above and beyond for our communities and our students. But the past 2 years has been a true testament of the amount of dedication, determination, love, compassion, and all-around go-getters our teachers have been and had. In the past 2 years alone, I have seen teachers navigate a raging pandemic with little guidance from our district. I have seen teachers put their own health, both physically and mentally, on the line to make sure that students are learning to the best of their abilities. I have seen my kids' teachers go out of their way to deliver supplies, books needed to succeed, or a gift card supplied for their own funds for encouragement. This does not happen on my doorsteps. This happens across our district. I have seen teachers go above contract hours to meet in small groups so that their students were not missing out. Teachers who met small groups in parks so that they can social distance while still receive lessons that were engaging and not completely online. I have seen teachers who have delivered meals to students because modes of transportation were not available for families to go to the school and get them. Teachers who have masked up and met parents to give them one-on-one support and understanding technology their child was using and how to navigate it. Our teachers the last few years have not only had to navigate their own children at home, many with newborns, myself included. Some even had COVID and teach, but pushed through and go above and beyond to meet their students' needs. During these unprecedented times, teachers rose above and beyond. They exceeded every expectation. They did so well under so much stress, anxiety, minimal support, and uncertainty. Our teachers are heroes, frontline workers who put themselves and their families on the line. It is time to start showing that students are truly first by putting forth action and by honoring your teachers and putting them first. because when teachers feel valued, appreciated, respected, they pour even more into the students each day. We are urging you as a community to put students first, students each day. We are urging you to, as a community, to put students first by putting their teachers first. We cannot, as a community, no longer afford to see the turnover in our teacher pool. We need to keep them here with us and show them that they truly are the wheels that keep the system going. Thank you.
I'll take over from here.
Thank you.
The next comment is from Joseph Winkle. Since joining Dearborn Public Schools this year at Miller Elementary, I've seen its teachers rally once again for its students. Make no mistake, this certainly is an abnormal year. Even though our students are in our classrooms, most have not sat in a classroom for a normal school day in over a year. Many are relearning acceptable social behaviors and how to interact with others in a shared space. There is an expectation when students move on to the next grade that they will have retained knowledge and skills learned in the previous grade. Sadly, this expectation is not reliable as virtual learning was not an effective mode of teaching. It is challenging and stressful to add these complications to our already challenging profession, but we have not let that stop us and we will not let that stop us. Thank you for your continued support. Next comment is from Julie Davis. Applicants' morale and attendance of district paraprofessionals is drastically low due in part to comparatively disproportionate COVID hazard pay with our co-working teachers and skipped elevated wage step increases for new employees. We are frontline workers and in many instances have greater contact with students than teachers. I have been an employee of the district since 2004 and in my current classification as a paraprofessional since 2008. I have seen many changes and very long layoffs where I have worked for years with no benefits, subbing every single day, but nothing like this before. These issues weigh heavily on us. When attendance is down, we get shuffled around to different programs within the buildings. A sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul scenario. Some feel as if they have a lack of representation, underpaid, and are not truly appreciated for the work they do. How can you bridge those gaps and help stop the burnout? Next from Tina Champagne, I would like to recognize the amazing work and dedication to our students at the Whitmore Bowles Special Ed team has continued to show through the years. This year has given us multiple challenges to work through. Severe shortages in paraprofessional staffing has impacted the building in unique ways. The special education ancillary staff has provided much needed support to teachers and students on a daily basis. The SLP, SSW, and OT provide continuous support to their students and the early childhood programs going above and beyond their professional responsibilities. One of the other SSWs has proven to be a great asset to staff and student building-wide. She is called on to address issues big and small and always responds with a problem-solving approach. One of our SLPs and OTs and a second OT go above and beyond their duties to support our students. The Whitmore team has done amazing things to help ease the transition back to in-person learning and deserves to be recognized. Next is from Leslie Rail. Throughout the past 2 years, I have witnessed countless acts that went above and beyond job descriptions and responsibilities by all job classifications at Salina Intermediate. From our cafeteria staff who ensured that every student would not go hungry, to the office and technology staff who made sure every student had a working Chromebook. Paraprofessionals helped connect with families and prevent continuity for the students with all the uncertainty in the pandemic. As for the teachers, I cannot say enough about how much my colleagues went out of their way to provide stability for the students, but also provided much needed support for each other. I cannot emphasize how much I value my team. The hours we spent in our evenings connecting with the students and making sure that they and their families had the support they needed is a testament to our dedication to our students. Our students deserve the best, and my colleagues at Salina truly have made that happen. Next comments from Miriam Mazarchik. I'd like to express my gratitude to the many teachers in my building and our tech department who helped myself, my students, and their parents navigate through the numerous tech platforms that we were provided, which included Schoology, Google Meets, Zoom, and Nearpod, to name a few. They also help me problem solve the many issues, glitches associated with these platforms and more. I can't begin to share how frustrating and helpless I feel at times when teaching both synchronous and asynchronously. They answered calls, emails, and met me on Zoom before class started, in the evenings and on weekends. I remember calling a few of my colleagues on a Sunday evening because something wasn't working correctly. They always answered and helped. Our staff consistently goes above and beyond to help each other, students, and parents. I'm thankful to work with such kind and passionate educators that I also consider friends. That's in regards to Gear Park Elementary. Next is from Melanie Klein. Dear school board members and Dearborn community, I am writing in regards to the amazing work of Dearborn teachers that I have witnessed day in and day out, year after year at Gear Park Elementary for the past 16 years. Every day I have colleagues who arrive at school 2 hours before and stay at school 2 hours after it ends to prepare for outstanding learning experiences for our students. Our staff members have raised donations and participated in several home visits to help struggling families. Last year during the pandemic, staff members hand-delivered Chromebooks, academic materials, and care packages to our families' doorsteps to ensure all students were cared for and could learn. Over the years, our staff has embraced the community like family, sharing hugs to celebrate triumphs or visit homes to comfort those who have lost a loved one. At Gear Park, our staff believes the way to a child's mind is through the heart. I've watched many staff members spend their lunch break with a student or group of students to make the connections necessary for our students to know that they're loved and for them to be able to learn. These examples are only a small snapshot of the compassion and dedication of the educators I have had the pleasure to work with. These teachers I am referring to have devoted their entire career to Dearborn Public Schools, serving for the past 10, 15, or 20 plus years. They have weathered the ups and downs of our district and stayed committed through the good times and the challenging times. They have stayed committed to Dearborn, to the families, and to put students first. Thank you for allowing me to recognize these great educational heroes. Next is from Chelsea Jankowiak.
Jankowiak.
As a Dearborn resident, parent, and non-teaching employee, I want to share that I see and appreciate the hard work of our district teachers that the community may not always see. The kids leave for the day, and the teachers continue to work hard prepping and answering questions from other staff, parents, and students. I hope that our community members and board also recognize, praise, and reward our hard-working teachers and staff in both schools and the virtual classrooms. That is it for the comments where we had names. Now we are down to the comments that are anonymous, if you want to summarize those.
Sure. One comment from Ms. B says, after a stressful 18 months, staff are burned out. It is a slap in the face to see the new teachers and parapros earning the same or more than existing staff. Then we had another comment from Mrs. Zahra S. High school kids are sitting 3 to a seat on buses, which is not safe and need to be addressed. Concerned elementary school parent says the supports higher pay to recruit new staff, but is concerned about the longtime teachers that are not being treated fairly. Teachers who worked for the district during the pandemic also deserve higher pay. We also received a comment from an employee who wanted to remain anonymous, said praised the district coworkers for helping students during unprecedented time, especially special ed and kindergarten teachers. Another concerned parent writer feels the district has grossly overlooked how most teachers, if not all, went above and beyond during the pandemic. We have a teacher who commented and says the district can't put students first when they're always putting teachers last, and complains new teachers are getting paid more than those who worked hard to help students keep up the last 2 years. Another comment about their child having 3 different long-term subs as dedicated veteran teachers leave for better pay in neighboring districts. Veteran teachers should be treated with the same value and respect as new hires. Staff member in a comment wanted better pay for current teachers when compared for new hires. That's the end of citizen participation.